Hi guys, it's Kelly and Crystal. This is me. Oh my gosh. So I wasn't gonna put on my camera today, and Crystal gave me a hard time about it. So this is me. This is my mess. This is my summer life, and it actually works out very well because we're talking about how to handle all the things that life throws at you, especially in the summertime. Summertimes are busy, aren't they, Crystal?
Yes, actually, I'm laughing at the irony of it all because we're here to tell people how to get through the summer. And but yes, I did. I told Kelly to get on screen. She was going to keep her screen black. Are you kidding? That's ridiculous. I
I
said this.
look horrible. I haven't even brushed my hair, okay? I mean, it is bad. But,
Well, I mean, it is what it is, and I mean, it is what it is. Who cares? You're smart. We just want your brain. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
so before we get into all our tips and ideas, so one tip is to just not get ready in the morning. If you don't get ready,
Or the first tip is to just get in the shower, turn the water on, and get in there. I'm kidding.
So, okay. So I'm Kelly, and I blog at threeboysandadog.com. I can't even remember what I blog at. Okay, so I blog at threeboysandadog.com. I've been blogging since November 2006. I blog about homeschooling and homemaking tips for busy folks. You see, I don't really blog about beauty tips for busy folks. So
You're so funny. Okay, you want me to introduce myself?
yes, ma'am, it's your turn.
All right, guys. My name's Crystal, and I'm a Dallas mom blogger, and I blog at crystalandcomp.com. And every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time, Kelly and I come to you with this weekly Learn to Blog Hangout that started, we're almost a year and a half into this, Kelly. Can you believe it? So every week we come on and we share a different topic. Sometimes we're super duper prepared and we're like, we're planning a week ahead and we're, really just researching the topic and whatnot. And then there's other topics that it's just like our real life. And that's one thing you're going to learn about me and Kelly, or Kelly and I.
No, me and Kelly.
Me and Kelly.
Did you learn about me?
Yeah, you're right. The one thing you're going to learn is that we're very real and we're very transparent. And you will hear kids screaming in the background. You will hear my dog yelping in a minute, probably. You'll see us without makeup. This is our life. And what's crazy is it's your life too, most likely. So, like one time a viewer said, so how do you keep your house clean? And I'm like, oh, that's a really funny question, because we don't at my house. I mean, there's constant struggles, There really are constant struggles in every aspect. So we've covered topics from, when Facebook changes its algorithm, discussing those topics, how to grow communities, how to grow tribes, how to create new content. We tackle real issues that you're having on your blog. And we do it for free. We share it every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time for free. So that's what we're here for. You can check me out over at crystalandcomp.com, and then you can also check out, which is a mommy resource and solution site, and I've been blogging I am in my 6th year. So, but then you can also check us out at Learn to Blog Hangouts with an S.com. That's where Kelly and I, if you click the new Start Here button, it'll pull up all of the Hangouts that we've done, with the exception of I haven't updated it in 2 months or so, but it was updated. We both work at this, okay? We really work hard to keep everything managed. But anyway, so today we're going to talk about summer because I'm already feeling it. Clearly, Kelly's already feeling it. I love you. I'm kidding.
What the hair? What's this?
You look fine. You look tan. Who cares? I mean, seriously. That's the beauty of what we do. We usually have pajama pants on anyway and nobody knows it. So, So, Kelly, let's dive into this. I've got, yesterday we asked you guys the question, who loves our Facebook community? Like, that was just one of the greatest things we've done because it allows us to stay in constant contact with you guys. So, we're accessible there. We're answering your questions. We're able to ask you questions. So yesterday, last night before I left for VBS, so like 5:30, Kelly and I are like, I guess we'll talk about summer because we're drowning. So we went over and asked the question on Facebook. We wanted you guys to share what your struggles are right now, because we know what our struggles have been for 6 years and 7 years. How long have you been blogging, Kelly? 8 years.
I don't know. I'm not very good at math.
So we know you're struggling. We struggle every year too, but we learn how to manage a little bit better as time goes on. So let's get started, Kelly. Where do you want to start? Since you're hosting today, where do you want to start with managing summer?
So first of all, let's talk about summer. Let's talk about all the different things. Look, hey, I moved my bowl. So I ate lunch, and my bowl was sitting right here. I know it's only 10 o'clock, but I was hungry. So anyway, I did pick that up. I didn't wash it. It's in the sink, but I did pick it up. So anyway, in the summertime, we struggle with time, but we also struggle with content for some of us. For me, I write about homeschooling stuff, a lot of homeschooling stuff, and I write things that teachers want. Well, in the summer, a lot of people don't homeschool, and teachers aren't looking for more work. They're enjoying their summer off. So my traffic tends to kind of change. So that's one thing that a lot of us need to look at. If you write about hairstyles and makeup and things like that, you can notice that your traffic goes down in the summer because moms aren't getting daughters ready. They're just enjoying their summer. So you have to really think about, what can I do over the summer to keep my traffic where it needs to be? So if you've been blogging for a while, then obviously you can go back into your analytics and you can look and see what did well the previous summers so that you can repeat that process. If you haven't been blogging a while, then you need to think about you. What are you doing in the summer? What are you looking for in the summer? And write about those things. And so you'll build that up. So that's the number one, and is a plan. Don't you think, Crystal? You have to have a plan, and you have to have a plan that's going to keep you happy.
Well, I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of person.
Well,
so I don't always have 100% of a plan, but I know what works, and I just repeat that. So I remember last summer what worked, and that's what I'm going to do again this summer. And I learn a little bit more every year, and you have to pay constant attention. Some of this stuff we just repeat every week, and it's because it needs to be drilled into your head. You have to pay attention to two things, your analytics and your webmaster tools, because that's what's going to tell you what's working, number one. Number two, you need to be, Webmaster Tools only goes back for 3 months. So this summer, I want you to keep track of what keywords are working, just like at Christmas time, we wrote down that Elf on the Shelf or whatever it was that was working so that we knew for next Christmas what we needed to be doing. Now, ideally, it would have been great for all of us to have some sort of series that we were doing through the summer. Some of you did that because Kelly and I mentioned it a while back, preparing for summer, and some of you went and did it. I think Barb at A Life Balance, I forget her exact URL. I know she's doing a series this summer. That's perfect. A blogger that has very effectively done it, this will be her second or third year, is Tiffany King from eatahomecooks.com. She has a Crockpot summer series, and she's promoting other people's content. So, those are plans to have, yes. But if you will, right now, my traffic was horrible last week. And really, like the week before, it wasn't that great either. So it's a matter of going into Webmaster Tools and into Google Analytics and seeing what's bringing me results and repeating those tasks again and again and again. Figuring out a way to repeat that kind of content without pure duplication. So in that sense, yes, you're planning. But still, as long as you're paying attention to those analytic tools, you're going to know what's working and what's not working so that you can adjust accordingly. I mean, but you don't have to be type A, total type A like Kelly, where you're just the strict planner, because you can still succeed otherwise. Because, I mean, I totally fly by the seat of my pants. What are you going to say, Kelly?
Well, yeah, but you don't, like you just said, you don't really fly by the seat of your pants. It's not like you wake up today and go, oh, what can I write about? You have an idea of what you're writing about this summer.
Yeah.
So you need some type of idea, because in the summertime, we're super busy. We have kids home when we might not normally. We don't have a structured day when we might normally if we're homeschoolers. We might have vacations planned in. We might have company that comes, or we might go to a summer house or a cabin or whatever it is that we might take our RV out for, a good portion of the summer. Whatever it is that we might do, our days are not normal. So where we used to get up maybe 2 hours or whatever before the kids did and we could work, or we would stay up an hour or 2 hours after the kids did so we could work, that's not necessarily possible in the summertime anymore. I don't know about y'all, but I swear, my kids don't sleep in the summer. I don't know what they do, but they don't manage to sleep. All they do is stay up and eat all day long.
Well, it's because we do get out of our routine of structure. And my kids have horrible sleeping problems too. We're working on that. We're constantly working on that. But I do think, Kelly, even though it's summertime, I still get up. You have got to decide if you want to get up early or stay up late, unless you can do both. But you've got to decide where you're going to hammer out that bit of work. You can get 2 to 3 hours worth of work done in an hour and a half when nobody is up in your house. So, or while kids are taking a nap or whatever. So you need to decide where you're going to get that time, and that's your gold. That's your time that you've got to have to do whatever it is that you're going to do. So, what were you going to say, Kelly?
I was going to say, and then once you have your time, that's kind of where I was leading into.
Yeah.
You want me to go ahead?
Yeah.
I didn't want to cut you off if you were still talking about finding time.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I was looking at my 14-year-old. I mean, he's awake. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. What's wrong with him? Anyway. I'm so hungry. Oh, imagine that. Okay, so once you find your slot of time, and I don't care if it's 10 minutes while the rice is boiling, wherever your slots of time are, if you can sit down and do 2-3 hours at once, great. If you can't, you can only sit down and do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. You have to manage your time well. If you only have an hour every day to work, you need to make sure that your hour every day is spent working. So that's a big, big thing. So decide what absolutely must be accomplished this summer. So make your priorities. What are they? What has to be accomplished every single day? What has to be accomplished each week? Whatever it is, make your priorities and do those. Don't get sucked into social media. Don't get sidetracked playing whatever that thing is called that I play.
Candy Crush.
Criminal Case. Oh my gosh, I love Criminal Case. Don't get sidetracked doing that stuff. Set a timer. Whether it's a timer in your head, it's the timer on your oven before your meatloaf is ready, your quad timer that Crystal and I recommend, whatever it is, set your timer and do your work. That it's a big, big deal. If you can just take your hour and spend it doing the things that have to be done on your task list, then anything else that you get done for the day is gravy. Crystal?
Mm-hmm. Well, so I wanted to talk about, some things that you can do to make life easier in the summer. You want to talk about that? And part of it has to do with social media. Because, is it okay if I go into this a little bit?
Yeah, go.
Okay. So you had said don't get sucked into social media, and that's right. Don't get on there and play, because it happens to all of us. Don't get on there and check out your friend's feed. You can do that while y'all are whatever, some other time during the day. You've got to be dedicated to that slot of time that you have to work. Believe me, yesterday I got up so early, and by 4 o'clock I'm needing to get ready to go to take my kids to VBS and all this. I wasted an entire day just going through analytics. I mean, I was doing blog stuff, but it's so easy to get sucked into one little task. I'm guilty of it too. But here's what I want you to think about. When you're on social media, I want that time to be spent utilizing getting traffic for you. So one of the things that I suggest you do is I want you to become members of some of these groups. I want you to write these down. We'll share them. We'll try to share them over in the event page. These are Facebook groups that are for bloggers. Operation Roundup, Craft and Food Roundups, Inspired Blogger Network. If you write about kids activities, Kid Blogger Network group. We've got our Learn to Blog group. And then there's another one that's called, I think it's called Links. It's something Roundups for bloggers. There's some girls that are here in the DFW area that run that. I forget what the exact word is. Okay, so my point is...
Say them again. I'm trying to write them.
Okay, Operation Roundup.
Yep.
Craft and Food Roundups.
Wait, Craft and Food Roundup. Uh-huh.
Inspired Blogger Network. If you're a kid blogger, Kid Blogger Network group.
Uh-huh.
Learn to Blog.
Uh-huh.
And there's another one, Kelly, and it's like roundups for bloggers or something like that. My point is, all of these groups allow you to go in, like Operation Roundup and Craft and Food Roundups, that's what they're for, is for people to be able to do roundups. So these are quick ways to generate content, okay? Number one, you can go on there to get roundup links so that you can, if there's a topic that you want to write about, so if Webmaster Tools says that you're getting good search results for Play-Doh recipes, then it's time to, since you already have some Play-Doh recipes on your site, let's do a roundup of Play-Doh recipes. That's easy content. Do a do a status update on one of those roundup group sites and allow people to start submitting links, and then within 3 days you've got a post that you can put together. But here's the other thing. I want you to use those groups to get you traffic as well. I want you to spend 5 minutes a day going through each of those groups, seeing where you can submit your links, okay? And even though it's a blog that only has a Facebook community of 1,000 and they only get 1,000 page views a month, that doesn't matter. Every bit of exposure adds up. There's a blogger that yesterday, she shared something of mine. I think she really shared it on like Thursday. She did a roundup of blackberry recipes, and I had submitted one of my links to that. Yesterday alone, she's not a huge blog, but I am so grateful that I gave her a link because yesterday I got 900 page views from her. Like, that is powerful. If I had judged a book by its cover and thought, oh, I won't get anything out of that, what do you have to lose? Submit your links. That's links that you're getting that Google's going to see. You have links on other blogs and other sites. It's traffic. It's an opportunity to build a relationship. Now I need to go and start building a rapport with her. Let's see how, maybe we can share some stuff for each other on Facebook, or maybe we could both do a guest post on each other's sites, or she could do, whatever. These are opportunities to build relationships with people. But every time you submit links and they get published on someone's site, that's a day that if you didn't post, you still got traffic. So consider that. That is really powerful. Find ways that you can work with other bloggers to kind of promote one another so that you're not having to work so hard every single day. So find some other bloggers in your niche that y'all can swap links every week so that you can, if you can, even if their Pinterest is, 1,000 and your Pinterest is 3 times more than that or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's building relationships, and it's getting each other's content in the faces of new audiences that will subscribe to you and become loyal readers and start sending traffic your way. Don't you agree, Kelly?
Oh, absolutely. I agree 1,000,000%. However, if you only have 5 minutes to work, you need to be producing content. You can't give content to these roundup places if you don't have content to share with them. Absolutely 157,000 whatever million%. Everybody says it. It's not just us. It's not like we're stealing anybody else's words. Content is king. You have to have content. So you have to decide, how often do you publish? If you just publish 3 times a week, great. Get it done when you have time, and then spend your other amounts of time doing the different things to get the traffic.
Well, and I want you to also think about how, those of you who this is not your first summer, I want you to think about how you can take old content and generate new content from it. So, you know, if last year you did a bunch of summer activities, even if you have to remember that every blog post doesn't have to be, you know, 500 words and 5 pictures. You can just do, if you're in the trenches of summer and struggling, you know, 1 picture and showing how you simply just sat on the couch and read, if that was something that would resonate with your readers and something that fits in the niche of what you write about, share that with people. Share, you know, it doesn't have to be this perfectly commercial looking blog post. You know what I mean? Share your real life in the summer if it fits into your niche and that's something that you can do. And find ways that you can go back to old content from last year and say, and do a roundup so that you're getting that content back into the face of your readers and say, here's 5 quick things that you can do this summer, activities with your kids, and you're just linking, you know, obviously follow the blog post template. It needs to be 150 words introducing your post, put a link back to, you know, to that category or whatever, or that tag, or if you have a landing page, and then share the 5 links that show, you know, how to make a bird feeder out of a juice box, how to make Jell-O ice pops in the fridge, how to play in the swimming pool for, you know, whatever it is. Don't feel like I just feel like a lot of times bloggers make this so much harder than it needs to be. You know, it doesn't have to be this pristine, gorgeous, perfect. In the summertime, I see a lot of people using for their pictures from their phones where they snap a quick picture. If your phone takes a good picture, and it shows your real life of the books you're reading this week with your kids, and then do some Amazon links to those books. You know, I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes we overcomplicate things. Do you agree, Kelly?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And think about not giving so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know a lot of you guys out there do printables. So do I. And let me tell you, for the most part, I do one. I do 1 printable. Maybe 2, maybe 3, but it's usually 1. And they do very well. So I can sit down and I can make 10 printables or whatever because I have the templates made for them now, so they're fairly quick. And that's 10 posts. Actually, it's 11 because then I can do another post that's a roundup of all those printables.
Right.
So think about maybe breaking it down. Maybe doing, if you do a whole set of printables, for example, do math, do handwriting, do preschool, do coloring. Break it down so that a post that would normally just be 1 post has now expanded into quite a few. So it's the same amount of time that you would spend on 1 post, you've just created 4, 5, 6 posts.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Your normal 1,000-word posts, break them down. You can get 3 good posts out of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I agree.
And so you now have a series that's you've spent the same amount of time that you would normally spend making 1 post, and you've created multiple posts. So that gives you more time. Think about it that way. Your readers, they don't have as much time either. So if you give them less, then they're going to come back more often. Sometimes. Just think about your readers. It's summer. They're just as busy. They don't have time to sit down and read a 2,000-word post. But they do have time to skim through a 300-word post. And then maybe even click to another 300-word post.
You know, there's a mom blogger that is here in the Dallas area, and she has, I think, 8 kids, and she's a homeschool mom. And I love when she does posts like, as a reader, when I read one of her posts that says, these are the 5 things I read this week on the internet, and she's linking to this article that she found on this blog and an article that she found about marriage on this blog, and she'll share 5 quick links. And as a reader, I'm like, wow, that's so cool. That's what Smockety Frumps is reading right now. That is so awesome. Like, I love to know what blogs other people are reading, what kind of things are helping them in their rearing of their children life, as, whatever it is. That's a great way for me to resonate with her as a reader. But as a blogger, the other side of my brain is saying, brilliant, she needed content, why not share what she's reading? Maybe those are her friends and she's helping them out. Who knows what it is? So my thing to you is also, maybe you do that and you say, here's 5 links I'm reading this week and here's how they're impacting my life because I'm struggling with summer right now and life is crazy. Share your real story. And then maybe you and 4 other friends are all sharing a link to each other's posts that are summer-related content. I mean, think of ways to make this work for you. Think of ways to, and this is something that Lori Turk said from Tip Junkie, but this is something that I've said for years in every aspect of my life, not just blogging. Work smarter and not harder. You have to do that. I mean, we can, if we make this a daunting, grueling task, we're going to lose our passion for what we're doing. So work smarter and find ways that you and your friends can work together to promote one another. And that's another great way to do it. What do you think, Kelly?
Yeah, okay, great. I think it's all great. Good job. So what else can we do?
Well, do you have something in mind?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
We've talked about getting up early.
Mm-hmm.
We're staying up late. We've talked about having a plan. We've talked about breaking our massive posts into smaller posts so that we can use them over time. We've talked about collecting links for roundups and giving our links for roundups to keep our traffic coming in. What else can we do to help us get through our super hectic summer?
Another thing that I would suggest doing, and I do this anytime my traffic's down, I repin my source. So I go into Pinterest, get my source, and I repin and use Viral Tag to schedule it out. But I repin my source, and you can do that for friends too. So maybe there's a group of 2 or 3 of you, and you each say that one time during this week we're all going to repin each other's source. So, I'll go in and pull up on Monday, I'll pull up Kelly's source and repin it, and then I'll go into another friend and repin her source. And that took very little time. I can use Viral Tag to have steady pins going out, and we're all doing each other a favor, and it brings traffic. I mean, watch your analytics. That's an easy task to do. You do it too, Kelly, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, you've got to schedule. I cannot sit in front of my computer so that, every single day, all day long, to make sure that I get 5 pins out every hour and, a Facebook post out every 2 hours and whatever. So schedule. I realize that Viral Tag is not for everyone, especially now that it seems their lowest thing is $99. Email them and see what. God, I'm shiny. Ugh. Anyway, email them and see if you can get their $28 plan or whatever. Explain who you are and that you wanted it before they changed their plans. That you're not some big business that's going to pay $99 a month. Email them and ask. I mean, the worst that can happen is they can say no. If you can't use Post Planner, use your Facebook scheduler. Use Hootsuite. Use anything like that. Even though we hate it, set up auto-populated feeds. Set up your feed to automatically go on Twitter. Set it up to automatically go on Google+. Just through the summer to keep you active and in people's minds. If you can't do anything else, those are always possibilities. Schedule your life. Schedule your blog life.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at some of the questions that were left, or some of the feedback that was left yesterday over on Facebook in the Learn to Blog Facebook group. I specifically said, what are your biggest struggles as a blogger in the summertime? And some people say, It's time. It's, just coming up with content ideas. If your struggle is coming up with content ideas, I want you to go into your Google Analytics and see what's doing well, and you need to find a way to create more content like that because your readers like it. And I want you to go into Webmaster Tools and figure out what content is doing well right now. And granted, all of your summer stuff may not be showing up yet, but you will get some sort of idea and, figure out what is doing well and duplicate that. Create more content around that. So if you're having issues finding topics, that's a great thing that you can do as well. So I'm going to share real quick one thing. Yeah, go ahead. I can't see
about topics. I was going to just talk about topics real quick. Another way to find out what's doing well is to go to Pinterest and go to the most popular Pinterest stuff, not your stuff, everybody else's stuff, and see what's being pinned on Pinterest and recreate it for your blog. So you're not going to copy it, but you're going to go on like right now and you're going to see that Father's Day stuff is going insane. So whatever your blog is, whether it's beauty and fashion, well, what would be good for Dad? Whether it's cooking, well, what kind of cooking things would be good for Dad? Homeschooling, printables and things for the kids to make for Dad. So Father's Day is Sunday. So if you're not going to do it, if you haven't done it yet, you better do it today or it's too late. But that type of thing is a good way to get especially last-minute content. If it's doing well on Pinterest right now, now is what you need to be, is when you need to be writing it. Push it out through your Pinterest boards and you're good to go. So Pinterest is a good one to generate quick traffic and to give you ideas for content.
Well, and I want you to also remember, people are like, oh, but I don't want to copy someone. Okay, let's just sit here and say everything you've created on your blog has been created somewhere else because you didn't create any ideas all by yourself. Somebody else somewhere is doing the same that, somebody else has already thought about freezer cooking, okay? None of us invented it. Somebody else already thought about utilizing your crock pot to make dessert. Someone else already thought about a recipe on how to make homemade bubbles, okay? So everything you're writing about, just like when people get worked up about, they buy an ebook and they're like, I could have gotten all this content, if I had just searched on the computer long enough. You can find anything you want everything's been covered, okay? There's nothing that's just never been covered. So as long as you are wanting to, as long as you are making it your own and not copying, being a copycat, and as long as you're making it applied to your family and crystallizing it or Kellyizing or whatever.
Crystallizing it sounds really cool. I like that.
Huh?
Crystallize?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that fun?
Kellyizing sounds dumb.
No, it doesn't. So, like Kelly said, go into Pinterest and see what's popular right now. Sorry, I'm sidetracked. Somebody messaged me on Facebook. And figure out a way that you can create it for your own. End of story. That's a great thing to be able to do. What other ideas do you have for post content, Kelly?
Hot topics. Go look on Pinterest. On Twitter, and see what topics are trending. That's a good way to do it. Go to and see what is the news you can use, or the trending searches, I think is what it is, and see what's going well that's in your niche. So now you know what to write about. It just gives you ideas for topics.
Yeah.
So what else? So that's a quick way. You're not spending all your time brainstorming or thinking about. You just go look. Okay, that's what I'm gonna write about. Boom. What's another way, Crystal? Another way to deal with our busy summer and still get our work done.
Well, I'm going to give a piece of advice that Kelly disagrees with 100%, and I think she fell out of her chair yesterday when I told her this, and I don't know why she found it shocking, because she's been to my house, one, and I've said this 100 times, I've thought, and this is how I've always done it. So, okay, here's my big secret. Now, if your personality's like me, it'll work. If your personality's like Kelly, it won't work. All right, end of story. So here is what I do. one of my biggest pieces of advice, when moms come to me and say, I'm going to start working from home, give me some pointers, I always tell moms this, and maybe I scare people off when I say it, but one of my biggest pieces of advice is to make your work area in a common area of your home. So, and let me tell you why. Were you going to say something, Kelly?
Oh, not yet. I'm going to disprove everything you say, but I'm going to let you finish first.
And then do I get a rebuttal after that? The reason I say this is because I've done it many different ways. Before I blogged, I worked from home 20 hours a week for a long time ago when the twins were babies. I worked from home for a company, and I had a room set up in our house, one of our extra bedrooms, and it was my office. And that is when all you-know-what broke loose in my house, because they're alone. They can do whatever they want. So my kids cracked 17 eggs in my living room because I was in a room on a conference call. Like, and Kelly says, well, that's because your kids are out of control. There is some,
no, that's not what I said.
That's kind of what you said, but
I said I know you must be better behaved than your kids are.
All right, so that's pretty much the same thing. But here's the thing. If I wanted to be in a room, listen, Kelly, what?
My 14-year-old said, ooh, burn.
Well, here's what I say. And this is not to offend anyone, and I hope that this does not offend anyone, but this is how I feel. If I'm going to be in a room all day working, I might as well go outside of the house and work. I need to be there for my kids. So this works for me, and I know it's not going to work for everybody. Listen, people come in my house, and one of the first things they see is my desk, and there is crud all over it. And I know that for some of you, that is something that will send you over the edge. So if you're easily sent over the edge, this is not going to work for you. But you have to bend, okay? Because if you don't, you're going to go crazy. So my work area is in our dining room, and I have a decent-sized desk that's set up in there. And so I can see but we have an open concept area too. So if kids are in the kitchen, if kids are at the table doing schoolwork, if kids are at the Peninsula bar area doing schoolwork, Kelly, I said I had an island one day, and Kelly's like, you don't have an island. So no matter where kids are, if kids are in the living room, if kids are outside, because I have a window right there, if they're in their room playing, no matter what they're doing, I know what's going on. And my kids really believe that I have eyes in the back of my head. They know. I can see if you take that drink to your room, I know it's over. You're in trouble. I know you did it. And I'm not coming out of a room to find a mess, 30 minutes later, because we know that we get sucked into things once we start working. So, I do as much work as I can before my kids get up. And then when I'm at my desk doing work, I am present and aware, and I know what's going on. Now, that doesn't mean that I ideally should be sitting at my desk all day long doing work. Or working on blog stuff. That is not ideal. So I know that I have to have some boundaries. I know that I'm tempted to be there doing, like yesterday, I sat at my computer for way too long and really accomplished nothing. So that can be an issue, but I have to acknowledge that, and I have to do things to change that. But I will tell you, one of the biggest things that has helped me with being able to manage a blog is to have my work area in a common area. Now, Kelly, tell me why you think it's horrible.
Okay. So one of the things that I did in my life to make my blog work get more easily accomplished is to take my desk out of the common area and put it in a place all its own. Seriously. My desk also used to be in the corner of my living room. That's where I did all of my work. At that time, my kids were younger, where Crystal's are.
Mm-hmm.
My kids are now older. I have a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 7-year-old. The 7-year-old's still young, but come on, I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. So they sit in there, they horseplay, whatever. I can't focus. They're funny, too. They say funny things. They bring me in. I'm part of their conversations or whatever. I can't focus. In order to get my work done, I have to go away from all that. I need to be away from all the noise and silliness that my preteen and my teenager can do. So I think it depends on where you are in your life and where your kids are in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Because mine are self-sufficient. Even my 7-year-old is pretty self-sufficient. He's very good at going, hey, Zachary, I'm really thirsty and I can't reach the tea.
Well, and your husband's home in the summertime. My husband,
This is true.
right, mine and Kelly's lives are flip-flop in the summertime. My husband works 18-hour days, and it's just me and all these kids. So,
And my husband, I mean, her husband, he owns an air conditioning business. So, you know, he's gone in the summer. You got to have a conditioner in Texas in the summer.
Right.
So, her summers, she's all by herself.
Right. Right.
My
So
husband's
can you imagine if I was in a room all day, I would come out and I would be like, you know, I wouldn't even be able to walk. It would be, I'm telling you, when I say my kids would tear the house down, that is not a figure of speech.
No, you don't have to tell me, because let me tell you. When my desk was in the living room, I completely zoned on my kids, and they were little. I don't know what I was into something. I had no idea what was going on around me. I was into whatever was happening in my job. And I heard splashing in my house. I turned around and looked, and like I was right where the hall was, so I turned around and looked. My kids were slip and sliding down the middle of my hallway.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
They were in water. They were in water this deep in my hallway. My whole house had to be redone. I mean, it was crazy. So I can't imagine how much worse it would have gotten had I not heard the splashing.
Right. Listen, when I tell you that my kids cracked 17 eggs in my living room, it is the truest story I could tell you. And it actually was what inspired me to start a blog. And it is the first blog post on my blog from 6 years ago. And my twins were 2 years old, and they stood in the living room, and I was on a conference call in the other room, and I kept hearing this thud and this giggle. Thud, giggle. And I heard it 17 times. I wasn't counting until I got in there, and there was only one egg left in the 1.5 dozen thing of eggs. You know, so I just, it is what it is, but
it is, you have to decide where you are in your life.
Right.
You might already be sitting in a common area, and you might not be accomplishing anything. So you might need to move to a more quiet area, and you might have to break up your day to do 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, an hour here, whatever it is. In the summertime, I do. I get up before everybody else gets up, and I work. And by the time my family starts getting up, I'm off. And I'm doing breakfast, and I'm cleaning up my house, and I'm taking them to swim, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. And then I come back, and it's lunchtime, and my kids can feed themselves. The youngest is 7, okay? He's almost 8. It's not like they're babies. So I get them food, or Zachary, my 12-year-old, gets some food, or my husband gets some food, or whatever, and I can go back to work for a little bit.
Right.
And I just continue that throughout the day. So think about your day and what might work best for you. That leads us into get help. If you don't have a significant other of some sort, or one that's available at all throughout your day from morning to night, or one that supports what you do so he's not willing or she's not willing to help, find somebody that is. Mm-hmm. Do you have a friend or a mother? A friend usually works best because you can trade out. Look, I'll take your kids on Tuesday if you'll take mine on Wednesday.
Yes. Yes. One thing, so that's something that I suggest is how can you barter with somebody? If your mother's willing to come over on Fridays for 4 hours, then you need to be able to sit down and hammer out a week's worth of content in those 4 hours. So if, that is, or if you can swap with a friend or whatever, okay? I also suggest, let me tell you, I had a point in my life where I had a brand new baby, 3-year-old twins. I think Anthony was 7 and Garrett was 9. Those were my days of being in the trenches. I ran a PTA, with limited volunteers. I was working at home for a company 20 hours a week. I would get work done by thinking outside of the box. I would get work done by going and letting my kids, now this is not going to be for everybody, but I would swap out. I had a friend that I swapped with. I would watch her kids, she would watch mine. But then also I would do things like go to McDonald's, get the kids an ice cream for, 59 cents a piece, They have Wi-Fi there. I could work on whatever I was working on for whatever the case may be, and my kids could play for free. McDonald's had free Wi-Fi. We didn't do that every day, but it got us out of the house. It was maybe something we did once a week. We got out of the house. I was able to get things done. You have to be resourceful. You have to be able to think outside the box. You know, you have to be able to say, you have to bend. That's like one of my biggest pieces of advice for moms, period. You have to be willing to be flexible, or you're going to break. You're going to break. So, go ahead.
Real quick, one lady said that she knows we talked about this a while back, but roundups, how many do we think is a good number? However many you do.
Yeah, Crystal? If your roundup just has 5, like if you have 5 posts on your own site that are for summer activities, then you could do a quick roundup of 5. If you're reaching out for links, and you know, I love to have 20 to 30 links whenever I'm doing a roundup of other people's content. Remember that those, if you're doing a roundup of, you know, the 5 summer activities that you have from last year that were your content. Bless me, sorry. Thank you. And all you have is 5 posts that you're linking back to, then so be it. But, you know, if we're being a mastermind about it and really, like, trying to find as many ladybug crafts as possible, 20 to 30 I love to have. But don't let rules keep you from providing content to your readers. Don't say, well, if I can't do 30 links on a roundup, then I'm just not going to do it. If you can remind your readers that you have 5 posts from last year that talk about great summer activities, and you can throw it into a blog post, then do it. You know, get that traffic generated for those posts that your readers have forgotten about, and you've gotten new readers since those posts were written, so they don't even know that they're there. People are not necessarily going to spend a lot of time on your site searching for what did she write about last summer. They're not going through your archives unless they're stalkers or very well invested. I mean, they're just...
What are you doing?
Spoon feed that content to your readers. What is who doing?
Trip's banging around in there.
Oh, well, I thought your kids were old enough to...
That's my oldest one. That's my teenager in there banging. The youngest one's at baseball camp, and the middle child's at Vacation Bible School.
Aww.
Which is weird because he's too old for Vacation Bible School. Our Vacation Bible School only goes through 5th grade, so... And he's
goes... Well, he's a sweet boy, so they wanted him there.
He's helping.
That's so sweet. Here's something I was going to say also. People that are struggling for post ideas. My ideas come to me when I'm in the shower, when I'm, you know, seriously, when I've taken the kids to the park and my mind is just kind of, you know, letting go and decompressing or whatever, or when we're out running errands or whatnot. So something that I suggest that you do is carry paper with you, like have a little notepad that you can put into your pocket or into your purse. And if you're taking the kids on a nature walk at the park, if ideas come to you, you can write them down, because ideas are going to come to you. And how can you take that information and turn it into content? What is that, Kelly? Yeah, use your phone.
That's my cell phone. Look, as I've said like a million times in this 49-minute hangout, my kids are older. I don't have to carry all the junk that I used to have to carry, but I am the queen of pockets, okay? When my kids were all little and we had 9 million things to carry around, if it couldn't fit in my 4 pockets on my pants, it didn't get carried. I could not chase kids, carry a purse, carry a diaper bag, push a stroller, do this, do that. I didn't have enough hands, so everything went in my pockets. My cell phone fits in my pocket, and I can easily pull my cell phone out and record a note, call myself and leave a message on my machine, type it into a thing, whatever. It's easy. I would think that pretty much everybody watching this always has their cell phone on them. It's not like you have to think about a piece of paper and a pen. Put it right here. Make a habit of checking this weekly or whatever.
Yeah. No, be resourceful. Totally be resourceful. Um, okay, Kelly, what else?
So another thing, Crystal mentioned this yesterday in our second Skype brainstorm about our hangout today. You might not have help. You might not have. You might live in a community where you haven't yet made friends. Your family doesn't live there. Your husband might be in the military, so he's never home. He's gone for 6 weeks at a time or more, 3 months at a time, whatever. I know I'm going to catch flack for this, but I'm going to say it anyway, and I'm going to take the flack instead of letting Crystal take the flack. Go to a fast food place. Go to a place that has a playground, that has free Wi-Fi. Stick your kids on that playground and work for 20 minutes. They're in the Chick-fil-A and McDonald's have those indoor play spaces that are really nice. They have free Wi-Fi. Chick-fil-A has grilled food, okay? So you can go get you some grilled food and fruit salad and drink you some lemonade.
Right.
Feed your kids and let them play. It's cool. It has free Wi-Fi. You can work sitting right there in front of the big, huge window where you can see your kids.
Mm-hmm. And you would be surprised the things that you can get done. Now, we're not saying that that's your solution every day.
No.
I really encourage you to just think outside the box. Don't be a victim. Don't be like, oh, there's no way I can get any of this done. Think of how you can be successful right now and be resourceful with what you have. You know, not everyone has a mom that they can call and say, can you come on Friday and watch the kids for 2 hours? If you have that, try it. If you don't, do you have a friend that you could swap with? Think outside the box.
Can you set up a play date?
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's only, you know, if this week you've got the play date at your house and next week your friend has the play date at her house, even if it's only once a week, that you can utilize that. Whatever the situations are, find a way to get help.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you do, you know, maybe an easy post idea is, I mean, just really, I encourage you to just think outside the box. If right now, your summer, you know, when you go to the pool, you use this floaty and this sunscreen, and your kids have these swimsuits and you love them, and here's why. Do a post about that, link to those things on Amazon, and boom. Parents want to know if that fits in your niche. Do it. So parents want to know, what does Kelly in Mobile, Alabama do? People want to resonate with you. They want to know what works for you. You know, they care about the sunscreen that you're using and the things that you love and your favorite cookie sheet and your favorite pair of sandals or whatever. You know, I don't know. I just think that people make this so much harder than it needs to be. Just think outside the box. Give yourself some grace and don't beat yourself up. And, you know, you can create content. I don't know. That's how I work. I will not be beaten. What were you going to say, Kelly?
I think that's the main thing, Crystal. I think you just hit the nail on the head. Do not beat yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst that's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you're making a steady income that's contributing to your household, then you have to make time to continue to do that. Whether you have to hire somebody to watch your kids a couple days a week, whatever it is. If you're making a significant income that contributes to your household and your household is going to be hurting without it, then you have to make it work. Otherwise, hey, what's the worst that can happen? Don't beat yourself up.
And here's something else.
They're only going to be kids for a very short period of time, but the internet is going to be here a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so maybe in the summertime you need to revise your schedule where you only post 3 days a week. Maybe, I know another blogger, Dana White from A Slob Comes Clean. She features other people, and it's like the easiest content. So she just says, Kelly, give me five links to your blog that are 5 things that you've written about that you're proud about, or 5 topics that you always cover, and I'm going to introduce you to my readers. And that's like an easy thing that you can do. Those are easy post ideas, and essentially she gets to take the summer off. Here's the other thing I want to say to you. When you're in your house and you're feeling like your blog is overwhelming you, you can't get anything done, you've had a horrible day, nothing's gotten accomplished, your kids are driving, or they're just like out of control, it is time for a break. And even if it's packing the kids up to run errands, get out of the house. Because sometimes that's all that I need to re-energize myself, because we are hard on ourselves and our kids are going stir crazy, and we just need to break up the monotony, and we need to break up the mood of what's going on right now. Just get out of the house for a little bit. Sometimes getting out of the house is what's going to bring you the ideas, what's going to encourage you and motivate you to keep going. The next time you're feeling bogged down and overwhelmed, it is time to get out and take a break. Even if it's running errands, if it's taking kids to the park, if it's a quick picnic, if it's just going to relax at Chick-fil-A, let the kids play, and you're not taking any work with you, but while you're there, you start thinking of ideas like, whatever it is, and it gives you ideas.
How to keep kids safe on the playground.
Exactly. I mean,
how to avoid diseases in the Chick-fil-A playground.
I can't tell you enough. Stop being so hard on yourself. And you're the one setting your own criteria of how successful you think your blog should be right now. And you need to give yourself some grace, and you need to stop being so hard on yourself. End of story. And you do what you can do. And if that means revising your posting schedule to 3 times a week, your readers are not going to care, as long as you let them know what's going on. And then those 3 posts that you do, you amplify them as much as you can. Like I said, you find other bloggers that you can barter and switch links with every week. You make sure that every post gets pinned to Pinterest and gets shared on Facebook. You go through those methods that we've talked about. You make sure that you're amplifying and getting that content out there for readers to see. Just stop being so hard on yourself. I think that's probably one of the biggest messages that you should take away from today. So, and get a shower.
I'm going to show you this before I sign off. You ready?
Kelly has crazy hair, yeah. You have a lot of hair.
So what do you think?
I think you have a lot of hair.
You're very chlorine in it.
Oh, is that what it is?
I need to go wash it. But look, I can't even get my hands through it, Crystal.
If this is your first time tuning in to Kelly and Crystal, we typically do not show our hair. We typically, but it is what it is. It's what I just said. Give yourself some grace. Kelly came on and she's like, I'm not coming on, and I'm going to keep my screen black. And I'm like, you're awkward. Why would you do that?
Oh my God, you're so awkward. You're like my kids.
Don't do that.
That's Christmas paper, Crystal. That is Christmas wrapping paper right there.
Then put it up. Donate it to Goodwill. Put it up where it goes.
I'm sorry, Mom. This is my life.
It's no big deal. No one cares. Somebody else watching has wrapping paper out right now.
Christmas wrapping paper?
On your table.
Sure,
it's
why not? In June.
You're not the only one. You're so crazy. All right, guys. So, we have no idea what we're talking about next week, but we'll see you. Our class starts next week. If we've still got if anybody else wants in, we're at a good number. But if a couple more people want in, we'll let you in. Otherwise, we're happy with the enrollment that we have, and we're going to get started on Monday. But it's a blog series that would change your life. So if you're in a position where you just feel like you're totally in the dumps and dragging with your blog, it's a great. It'll get you going. It'll get you motivated, and kick your blog back into gear. So that's something to think about too. But guys, y'all have an awesome day. I am headed out to go see a little girl graduate today. That I was there the day she was born, and so we've got an hour-long drive. Yes, she's a sweet girl. I can't believe she's graduating. Anyway, all right, guys, y'all have an awesome day. We'll see you next Tuesday. We have no idea what we're talking about, but we'll see you next Tuesday. All right?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. All right, guys. Bye. See you later.